take up one right, okay, 745.
What up, TPN? AUHON here to take a loop around the happenings in our ever-evolving industry once again. The Pilot Network podcast is our chance as a network of aviation professionals to open the hangar doors and explore the depths of our career field. Our goal is to uncover the answers to questions many of us have been too afraid to ask. How many days are you on the road per month? Are you stuck behind that desk with endless taskers from the boss? Did you just fly a five-legger that started at 4 a.m.? You didn't get anything to eat, and after everything's done, you have to jump over to the little girl's dance recital. This line of work does not do us any favors when it comes to our health. Whether it is food choices, fitness routines, circadian rhythm disruptions, and or a host of other challenges we must overcome, most of us could use a checklist for success on how to avoid the pilot bod. Imagine the dad bod, add 10 years, 15 pounds, and dark blue gym bags under the eyes. Now you got your pilot bod. Well, my good friend and noted fitness expert, Frank Alvarez, is a retired Air National Guard KC-135 pilot, professional triathlete, and owner of Frankly Nutritious, a company focusing on coaching and education about nutrition and lifestyle planning uniquely tailored to their clients. Let's expand that background just a little further. Frank, how are you doing tonight? How did it all start for you?
I'm doing very well, and thanks for having me here. Well, my story started a long time ago, like everybody's, with an interest in flying and an interest in fitness and an interest in athletics. I think every kid truly wants to either be a pro athlete or a rock star, and then it doesn't pan out that way. I luckily got to do one of those things, and we'll get into that. But I'm here in Wisconsin. I've been in the area all my life. I ended up going to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I graduated there in the late 80s in bacteriology. I'm going to go to med school, and the Air Force kind of popped into my radar. I had an interest in flying, wanted to fly, and I decided to do that in lieu of doing 5 years of med school and all that stuff. So I ended up graduating. I went over to the Wisconsin Air National Guard, and I applied there, and I got in. So I flew KC-135s for the next 25 years, and that's how we know each other the last 10 or so, I guess it's been.
Yeah.
But along the way, I was a pro duathlete, triathlete, and adventure racer. So adventure racing is like the eco challenge type stuff, map and compass, navigation, biking, kayaking kind of things. I didn't do the real super long stuff, but I did 24 to 30 hour type races and things. I also got a bunch of certifications because I was interested in it. So I'm a personal trainer, a health coach, and more. And now I'm in my master's in holistic nutrition. I ran our fitness program at the base and donated my wellness program to the unit for many years. So I got to refine the business. I retired back in August of 2014. And when I left there, I was flying for Omega Air Refueling Services for about 6 months. So I know there's a few people that know who they are on the Pilot Network because I've talked to them in the past about what it was like to work there and things.
Networking at its finest. Thank you for doing that, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were things you needed to know. I loved it. Great job. But it was just a gap filler for me because I'd been hired by American, and I was just waiting on a class date. So about 6 months later, I went to American. And I ended up resigning from there about 2-3 months after I got there. More so for the fact of this is my passion. This is what my call was to go do, and I retired. And my heart wasn't in the commercial aviation industry and flying anymore. So, and I needed to put 100% into that, as everybody here knows. It's not a job that you can just do to do it. So this is where my passion's at. And don't get me wrong, I love flying and still do love flying. It was just my time to pursue other passions. So, but today I've been working on the business for about 3 years. I'm focusing on the nutrition and the whole lifestyle piece of it, but I focus on the nutrition piece. I counsel one-on-one. I teach groups from athletic teams to coaches to corporate teams locally and from all over the world. I've had clients all over the U.S. and I've had a few overseas. I can do it from the internet. I can do it live. It's a global business, which is really nice that I can do it that way also. But
you sound like Apple when you say that, or Google or something. That's awesome. You're a global business. I like that. That is marketing, folks. The guy knows how to market.
Frankly Nutritious is global. So it's pretty cool when people from overseas pick up, and it's primarily the English speaking, but they do pick up on it. And I can see, I have chat on my website and things, so I can see where people are from. If I'm chatting with them, I may not know much more than that, but I see Australia hitting me all the time and
Very
things.
cool.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but as far as the athletic, the fitness and all that, where that came from, I've been active all my life. I've been a lifelong athlete. I played hockey, baseball, football as a kid, and then I found out I could run late in high school. And that's where the whole pro duathlon, triathlon, adventure racing thing it came down to. And along the way there, I had a lot of really good success. I raced in 5 world duathlon championships. So a duathlon is run, bike, run. I wasn't the triathlon. I was technically was a pro, but my swimming just wasn't strong enough, and it was just another discipline that I didn't have. I didn't have the training in, so it was a lot of work for me. And I was flying, and I didn't really need the duathlon was fulfilling that need, and it was very cool for me to be there. So, but I represented the.
I want to jump in here real quick. For those of you, oh, by the way, if you hear the crying baby in the background, an 11-week-old will do that to you. But the funny part about what Frank said there is that he didn't have the ability to be frankly competitive in the swim. However, for the rest of us, that means that when we were just about hitting the water in a triathlon swim, Frank's finishing. So you can understand that world-class athletes are world-class no matter what discipline they've chosen to undertake. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, because I have sat next to Frank in the gym at the Guard and trained with him, and you have no idea what it's like to work out or watch a world-class athlete warm up while you're sitting there pedaling your ass off on the bike, getting nothing done, and the maniac machines next to you. So sorry, that may sound like a little brown nosing, but it is pretty impressive to see that up close and personal with a friend of yours. So that I had to caveat that all for everybody out there who thinks, well, I could beat him in a swim meet. No, you could not beat him in a swim meet.
Well, thanks for that. It's been a long time since you've made me feel like I'm that stud at 51 now. So it's long, but gone. That's
the last time I'll do that throughout this whole podcast.
But yeah, so that's what I did. Competed for the U.S. Loved the sport. I loved pushing my body, and I really loved the satisfaction that came along with racing. You know, racing was a pain and difficult, and you dreaded it, but it was very satisfying when it was over, and especially when it went your way or it went the way that you wanted your training to take you, regardless of your finish. But then I retired from all that. I got hurt. You know, towards the end of it, I had a couple things going on, and then I got sick. And that's the big thing that with why I'm where I'm at is that I know you've read my story and stuff, but there's probably a lot of people that I flew with that haven't read my story, and because they didn't know, you know, the flight docs and everybody knew what was going on, and it was pretty messed up, and it was freaking me out for a while. Ended up not being anything near like I really thought serious. I thought it was, but it was pretty serious. But anyways, in my late 30s is when I got sick and got really sick, and I was on convalescent leave for 30 days from the Air Force. I may have had a brain stroke, you know, in hindsight now with talking to some of my healthcare practitioners. I was having some serious heart issues, and the biggest thing is that Western medicine couldn't figure it out for me. You know, so and I was healthy, and I was into the nutrition. I had the bacteriology degree. I was the coach. I had all that stuff going on, and I thought I was doing the right things, and Western medicine just couldn't figure it out. So I really took a leap basically off a cliff into holistic medicine and things to try and figure out what was going on. And that's when I enrolled in my master's in nutrition and began to apply everything that I had previously learned, what I knew I could do better to get better, and I did. I got a lot better, and it was food that healed me. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't a pill. It wasn't any kind of therapy or anything. It was food. Food solved all those problems, and it solved all the other issues I had going on, from chronic injuries to acne to whatever kind of create dry skin. All that stuff went away with this real strict food regimen that I went on. But that's all on my story on my website at franklinnutritious.com. You can read the details of all that there if people want to hear all that. But this approach is what I teach now. I teach how to eat, how to work out, how to live in a correct fashion, because we'll get into it a little bit in these podcasts about working out too, that the stuff that I did and that athletes like me do, the Ironman and the long distance stuff, is not longevity. It's not what's going to get you to the finish line, Jack LaLanne style. I was taught wrong. You were taught wrong. Most everyone in Western society was taught wrong. It's not mine or your fault. It's society's fault. The information was bad, and it's just what we thought we were supposed to do, and that's what we did. But myself and a good group of others that are out there now really know what works. And the unfortunate thing is that we already knew this and forgot it. It's kind of like Chinese medicine and things, and Ayurvedic medicine and stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that we've forgotten about. So the road we went down, we didn't have to go down, and we're still on that road, but we did, and we'll get into more of that in a bit. But now I focus on not blasting myself with long duration intensive exercise like I was doing. It's about health 100% of the time. I don't, I know what the workouts do to my body. I know how stressful they are, and I know how to recover from them now. And this applies to a pilot's life, traveling just as well. So this type of lifestyle and what it does. So I stick to whole foods that are low carbs, high fat. And again, that style also conforms and supports to what pilots' traveling life is like too. I did it in the Air Force. I did it with American. I had it figured out, and it's a real sustainable, healthy way to travel and to keep yourself healthy while you're on the road.
And I think that's the crux of why we're here, really, right, Frank? Like, a lot of us think that if we were sitting at home every day, we're getting our good 3 squares, we're eating healthy, and you and I have talked about it numerous times. We're not eating healthy, or just because we think we are doesn't mean we're actually doing it correctly. And some of us, that like you and I have talked, I'm taking those kind of baby steps in the right direction. I'm starting to feel a lot better. But I think even some of the novice or the non-novice guys out there in the network, or just people in general, they don't even know how to take those first baby steps because they think they're already doing the right thing. So looking at how this kind of all first came, let's take that another stupid pilot humor joke. Let's take that 35,000 foot view, and then we'll kind of break it down from that. So when did you really first get interested in creating a lifestyle and nutrition brand, quote unquote, because that's kind of off of your page directly. So how did that all start? When did this kind of grab you? I know you talked about the sickness in the past. Was that where it kind of really started for you, or was it before that?
Yeah, exactly. That's when I took that, like I said, when I took that leap, it was literally like I jumped off a cliff or into a cave. It wasn't just a big step or a couple big steps. It was, okay, I'm going to do this to the nth degree, and I'm going to do it right. And it was when I got sick, because it did freak me out. I was, especially the heart stuff. I thought, oh, here's the fit world-class endurance athlete, and he's going to fall over dead of a heart attack. So when I got sick is when I did it. I spent a lot of time, in my previous years coaching and training individuals, getting certifications, became a track and field and triathlon official. So I was doing those things, but those were the little steps. And I thought that I might go into this when I retired, but, I just enjoyed them. It helped me race. It helped educate me. So it wasn't really back then that I did that with a means that this is what I was going to do when I retired. It helped me along the way. But when I got sick and everything went wrong, I went through that getting better period in my life, and I saw how terrible it was, that I was informed by society, how they just completely misled me. And I could see, my friends, my family, my neighbors, everybody that were going down that same road, and how easily it could be fixed. And it wasn't that they got real sick like I did, but they had minor issues, just these things that we hear that are aging, that we're getting tired. We don't, you get the brain fog, and you're getting tight, and you're losing your function and things. And that's just not the way it has to be. Are we going to get old, and are things going to change? Absolutely. But it doesn't have to happen like we've been taught, and like you see people aging and they just accept it. You do have to accept it, but it doesn't have to be that way. So when I got sick, that really, made me, buckle down and, I don't know. I know it doesn't have to be this way. And that's when I decided this is what I was going to do and what I wanted to do. And I had the training and the coaching programs in place, but I was just kind of doing it to do it. And it was the last, 4 years that I was in the Air Force that I really started, developing the program and things, and I was going to run with it when I got done. And then I had I had to go fly airplanes for a couple more years after that. So
yeah, sure.
I got that bug. It bit me again. And I think a little bit of that was I just kind of had to maybe prove to myself that, okay, I could get hired by a major. So it's my ego, which that'll come up later too.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Well, I'm sure there's nobody in TPN aside from you and maybe me who has an ego. So I wouldn't worry about that. But I think you touched on something, because not only is the TPN podcast about fitness this time around, but it's also about running with your dreams, desires, your goals, your wishes, your wants, all that good stuff. What were your motivations? What were the personal and professional motivations to go out there, make that leap, and start your own company with, frankly, again, pun intended, because that's the best way to say it. If I keep using frankly, it's the subconscious trick. But frankly, your only real experience in the business world of doing this stuff was being a pilot for the Air Force and Air National Guard and running races professionally. You weren't a businessman by trade. You just weren't. And you said, well, to hell with it. This is what I'm going to do. So how does one get motivated both personally and professionally to keep up that grind and make things start to work until they start to see the outcome? And tell us a little bit about not only your motivations, but also kind of the rewards, what you saw when you started getting somewhere in your business.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, with the military, and I was hired on active duty, so I spent all 25 years, with the Wisconsin Air National Guard, and I know you understand this, but for most everybody else out there, they may not. But I got hired on as an active duty so I could get that retirement. So the active duty retirement, and I was here all 25 years. So I had that backing behind me, so that was nice. I had a paycheck to kind of support me to get going. But after 51 years on this planet, I think it just came down to my type A personality, and raised without a dad. That's just honesty. And I hope, being honest with myself, that I understand some of the, bags of crazy that we all carry, and understanding some of those bags of crazy that I actually carry around. It may sound funny, but, I was an Air Force pilot, a world-class athlete, both of which are pretty hardcore status symbols. And at 48, when everything was the light was at the end of the tunnel, I decided to enroll in my master's program and then roll into my PhD. So it's just all this stuff that I'm out to prove stuff, and it fits perfectly with oldest in the family, and raised by my mom. Dad was never around, and then the world class, all this thing, just things to prove to people. So that probably could be a big piece of why I did that. But honestly, now I feel I've slowed down a bit and realized how detrimental that was to my health. I want a good business and a lifestyle business, but I won't sell my soul and work 100-hour week, to make $1 billion business out of this. And I kind of joke about that $1 billion, but it doesn't need to turn into anything big and crazy. It just needs to be something that supports my lifestyle. It's going to be more of a lifestyle business, because I can do the business as my life, because it's what I enjoy doing. And hopefully I won't fall over dead, trying to kill myself to create this giant business. So I'm here to help others in my industry, and in the flying industry. It's a perfect place to be for me. And that's what motivates me every day is the people.
And following up, I kind of asked it a little bit about leaving behind that known piece of the Guard and aviation and all that life for the unknown of being an entrepreneur. I can sympathize with some of that, but I want to know your take on it.
Yeah, leaving the Air Force was tough. Again, the Air Force retirement was immediate, so my situation was a little bit different as far as the entrepreneurship piece. It was still extremely uncomfortable, because I had enough to pay my bills, but I didn't have enough to live. So I still did have to make some money. I didn't have to go out and make every cent I possibly needed. And I had a nest egg to help me sustain me for a couple of years. But yeah, that was one of the worst things I'd ever went through in my life, because I just didn't know where the next, how I was going to pay my truck payment, or when could I go buy groceries and things like that, because I didn't have that money coming in consistently, and then it comes in sporadically, so that took a lot. And you're so used to structure with the military and with any job that you're getting paid for. So, but the stress is much different than when I collected a paycheck every time you pass go. I love what I do. I love helping others, and I know I'm helping them, so that keeps me motivated. I have the best boss on the planet. He totally gets me, and it's a one-person shop. So,
Indeed.
But on leaving aviation, it was even tougher because I did love it. I don't miss aspects of it, but I do miss aspects of it. We all hate check rides. We all hate training. You hate having somebody looking over your shoulder all the time, or not knowing if they're going to be looking over your shoulder as you walk down the gangway, that kind of stuff. So that stuff I don't miss, but I miss the camaraderie. I miss the traveling. I miss all that stuff, and that's part of what leaving aviation, what I miss about it. And maybe the worst part of the transition was just the military piece of it.
That was another episode of the Pilot Network podcast. We hope you learned something, or at least got something out of it. It really means a lot when someone actually learns something from the conversations that we have here. Catch episode number 2 of this 3-part series with Frank Alvarez next time on the Pilot Network podcast. And if you just can't wait, you can find all 3 episodes on our Patreon at patreon.com/thepilotnetwork.